Alright, in this video we're going to talk about how to do web server status monitoring using one of the web application template tools. So to get started, let's go ahead and go to the admin panel. For mine, I'm just using my local one, which is 127.0.0.1 app template admin panel. Your URLs can be different. Just go to however you get to your panel. So let's go ahead and log in here. And the tool we're looking at is under maintenance, servers, monitor. So basically we're going to build a list of servers that we are using as resources for our application, so we can always come here to see them if they're up or down. If there's anything going wrong with your application, this is probably the first place you want to check, because of course if your MySQL server's down, a lot of things that require it may not function, and this is a great place to look for that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a name for what server we're going to look at. I'll just give you some examples. I mentioned MySQL. Let's go ahead and start with that one. I'll just call it MySQL. Let's pretend it's my dev server. Right now it's on my local host, so it's 127.0.0.1, and it does require that you enter the port that you're running the server on. Now I went ahead and listed right here a lot of the default ports. The only one that's kind of weird is the SQL one. That is not the true MySQL port, but the way I'm actually pinging the servers does not work. Now there is a default debug SQL port which we're going to use for testing, and it's 135. For MySQL it's 3306, so I'll go ahead and enter that here. Now there again, your server may be different and they could have changed that. A lot of times you won't see the SQL one change and you won't see the web server one change. Speaking of web server, I'm running also a web server on this one, so let's just do web server dev. Address 127.0.0.1, and that's going to be in port 80. There again, web servers can use different ports too. I've actually seen 81 used in internal networks before, but most time it will be 80 and you'll be fine. If you're not sure, you might need to go talk to your IT department or whoever set up that web server and find that information out. So here we got two already added, and it looks like they're both active right now, which I expect them to be. You can even do websites like this. Let's go ahead and do google.com. And then we'll, over here on the address, we'll actually do google.com, port 80. And you can see even Google is even running on 80, so very well. Try the SQL one, so SQL dev. It's also running on my local IP. And I'm going to use that test debug one at port 135, and that one's active also. So it looks like we're good to go. We got 4 active servers. There again, if you enter something that does not exist, or like say a port that doesn't exist, and you try to add it, it may take a few seconds to respond here, but eventually it will finish the test. And that one, last one, is taking the longest because it's not found at all, and it says not responding. So if I come here and I see that red, I would want to troubleshoot that, not look at my code, not do anything else. Once I get all green here, I can see if my program starts responding again. So that's basically it for the service monitor. The only note to give you is don't include / if you're using a computer name. For example, let's go ahead and try that one out. I will add my PC name here, which is desktop. Let me put that in notepads. It won't let you copy and paste from that page. So desktop EQ4 E1AS. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one since it was taking so long. I'll call it desktop. And since I'm running a web service on that one, 80 should work just fine. And there you go, and it worked. So you really can't, you have to know which port is open. So if I was not running a web server on this one, it may not work unless I knew something else that was, like say, running an FTP server on a port or anything. Then I can actually do the ping just fine. Alright, hope you enjoy this tool, and happy coding.